There's some new art on the walls at Access Framingham, and beat reporter Francesca Cerruti-Harris recently spoke with the artists about their work and creative process.
We are here with one of the two artists currently on display at the gallery at Access Framingham. Dave Gaiman is a Framingham resident, a freelance technical writer, and his artwork ranges from landscape impression to architecture. Thank you so much for coming and displaying.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a great opportunity.
So can you tell us, how did you get started with your work?
So I was a professional potter for about 10 years. And in that point in time, my wife and I went to the Royal Ontario Museum in Toronto in the middle of a Chinese exhibition and came across a Han Dynasty clay model. And I began making clay models of houses, and from that I began to take an interest in house architecture. And from that I began to take a deep interest in house architecture in the East. This was while we were living in Michigan. Came out east for a vacation and indeed fell in love again and again with the old houses here and the old architecture. A lot of it is history. There's just a whole lot of history floating around in this area. So seeing an old house makes me wonder what were the lives here in the 1700s and the 1600s. As a friend of mine says, when I paint a house, it's a house. It's not a statement about politics, it's a house. And all my statement days are way in my past. I'm just seeing things, looking at things, being pleased by things, and trying to pass that pleasure on.
The other artist currently on display here at the AFTV gallery is John Keane. He is a Framingham resident, and he takes his inspiration mostly from scenes around New England. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me, Francesca.
So can you tell us where your inspiration comes from?
Well, I enjoy being out hiking and tramping around in nature. I carry my camera with me, and I like to find hard to spot treasures and take pictures and then paint from them, by beginning with watercolor and then changing to acrylic and then changing to palette knife and then changing to oil, and now I do all of them. And the progression has been through the schools and classes at Danforth and Concord Art and Cape Cod Art Association and so forth. The one that's called Beacon Hill on the Charles, and I'm pleased with that because the city itself is very old and historic, and the view encompasses the Charles River, which is also very historic. And in using and painting that scene, I was able to use both brush and palette knife, and palette knife to a great extent. And I was very happy to have the chance to do that. Well, I think my work has a peaceful sense to it, and anyone who likes to go out hiking around the woods or along the shore or looking at old boat yards or things like that probably would enjoy looking at the picture itself. As to how good the artwork in it is, that's another question. But the scenes, I think people like, and I like them.
We hope everyone will come out to welcome both John and Dave and to see their artwork at our artist reception here at Access Framingham on April 5th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. You can meet the artists, have a few refreshments, and enjoy other members of the community looking at your art.
Well, I'm looking forward to that, and thanks again for giving us the opportunity to show.